What's up, good peoples? I'm gonna give y'all a chance to come on in here. I got something to share with y'all. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. As you come into the room, please let me know where you're tuning in from. Again, please let me know where you're tuning in from. I got something good for you today. I got something really good that I think that you'll benefit from, especially being as though we're coming up. This right here is like Love Week. We got some significant celebrations taking place today, so I want to give y'all something that's going to help you in terms of connecting in your relationship. Hey, what's up, Fine 29? So please pay attention to this because you'll definitely be able to benefit from what I'm about to share. My name is Ayize, just in case you did not know. I'm one half of that dynamic duo that comprises myself as well as my wife, Aiyana, she's not with me right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and hold this thing down because I think that number one, I got the capacity and the ability to do so, but number two, sometimes you just need to hear from a man. You just need to hear a man's perspective on what you can do to, elevate and enhance the quality of your relationship. And so again, welcome and thank you for tuning in. Today's topic, y'all. And as you come into the room, please share. Please like, please comment, please share. I see y'all coming in here. Again, thank you for tuning in. Please like, please comment, please share. But today's topic is the subtle things. I'm going to give y'all 5 subtle things that you can say with your touch. Let me ask this question, y'all. How many of y'all have had at least a certain period of time in your relationship where you've been touch starved? Where you've actually missed out or you've been longing for, you've been yearning connection through touch. Has anybody had that experience before? Let me know. I want to make sure that I'm not the only one. I want to make sure I'm not the only person that's had that experience where you've been longing for, you've been yearning, you've been needing, you've been wanting, you've been desiring a touch. Let me know if you've had that experience. If you had that experience before in your relationship where that's what you wanted, but your man, your woman hasn't necessarily provided that to you. Okay, thank you, Tisha. I'm glad I'm not the only one in the room that's had that desire and that experience. And so a part of the reason why, hey, what's up, Andre? A part of the reason why we have these desires as it pertains to touch is because we're wired a particular way. We gravitate towards touch. In infancy, a lot of times attachment, there's something that's called attachment theory, y'all. And so attachment theory speaks to the capacity, the ability, the opportunity that exists in terms of helping your child, your baby develop just through a simple caress. And so early on in life, we have this desire and this craving to be touched, and it doesn't end. Some people think that it ends, but it doesn't end. Hey, what's up, Bruce? But it doesn't, y'all. It doesn't. So it's really important that if you have children, and my wife and I, we were actually having a conversation about this, but if you have children, make it a priority to touch them. And I'm going to tell you why, because I'm going to give you a few reasons or a few things that your touch does and how it enhances just their self-esteem and also their ability to connect in as they develop further in life. Let me scoot this over a little bit so I can see some of these YouTube comments. Hey, what's up, Charles? And so again, just make sure that you're doing that. Make sure that you're connecting and touching. And so today I'm going to share five subtle things that you say with your touch. Does anybody want to be touched? Let me ask that question. I know I do. If you want to be touched, let me see some hearts. Let me see some hearts on Facebook if you want to be touched. And I'm going to wait a second. Does anybody have a desire to be touched? I don't see no hearts. I'm waiting for the hearts right now. Does anybody want to be touched? Okay, I see them coming in. Yes. Does anybody? Okay, I see somebody on YouTube says, nope, I don't want to be touched. Now let's keep this in mind too, that everybody has a touch history. Depending upon what their experience was in their past, there is a possibility that some people might be averse to affection. They don't want to experience the touch. And so that's a normal thing as well too. The objective of being in relationships is to actually move past that and to grow through that. But when it comes to this issue around not necessarily wanting to be touched, I get that and I understand. And my wife and I, we work with people who have been in that space and help them to ease into the process and the experience of embracing and receiving the touch. And so, when it comes to this whole touch thing, y'all, keep this in mind. The touch, it releases a number of hormones. So oxytocin is one. You got that dopamine that's also released too. When people say, you got that dope, sometimes it's talking about that dopamine. That's released through the process of touch. And a lot of these hormones, what they do is they enhance the experience of enjoyment. they call oxytocin the cuddle hormone. And so, when that's released, it actually engenders a sense of wanting to be touched, wanting to be cuddled. It engenders those fond feelings. And so when you release that, it's really important that you make sure you do it and you do it on a consistent basis. Okay, I see on YouTube they're talking about I like verbal touches. That's absolutely okay too. And so when you're doing that, again, you're releasing these hormones. And so it goes beyond just, you attempting or you trying to move into a space where you're actually getting a particular need met, but you're actually releasing hormones in the other person when you go through the process of touching them. They feel good, y'all. They feel amplified. They feel elevated in many situations. And so there's some element of excitement. Again, that dopamine, that oxytocin is released. And so, again, your touch isn't just you reaching out and extending yourself, but it's releasing something inside of your partner. So keep in mind that when you do that, a hormonal release is taking place. So keep that in mind, y'all. It's really important because you do got some power, you do got some ability through the process of touching your partner. Now, the subtle things that you say through the process of touch, y'all. Number one, when you touch your partner, you're saying, I see you. When you touch your partner, you're saying, I see you. Now, one of the things that my wife and I do, we do on a regular basis, that we'll touch the face. So my wife and I, we got this thing, she'll grab my face and she'll rub my cheeks, or she'll touch my nose, she'll kiss me on my eyelids, and, I'll do the same for her. But in doing that, what it's saying is, I see you. I see your physical presence. I see your physical body. I see your emotional and spiritual being as well. And so I'm acknowledging your presence, and I'm saying I see you just simply through that act of touching. Some of y'all might be in a co-worker environment or in a work environment where, somebody might come up to you and touch you on your shoulder. What does that feel like to you? Some of y'all might jump and be like, why are you touching me? But when they touch you on your shoulder, again, it's an acknowledgement of your presence. But in an intimate partner relationship, a touch on the shoulder can be, to some degree, kind of dismissive. But, if you're touching the face, and if it's a caress on the shoulder, again, that's a way of saying, I see you. So if you're not doing that in your relationship, make sure you touch your partner's face, the nose, kiss the eyelids, the earlobes, etc., etc. Those are ways that you say to your partner, I see you. Another thing that you subtly say through the process. Now, let me ask this before I go to the next one. How many of y'all do that? How many of y'all actually touch your partner's face? How many of y'all kiss your partner's eyelids, touch the nose, touch the cheeks? Okay, I see on YouTube they're talking about, I'm going to try that when I get home. That's what's up. Please try it. If you have not done it, if you do not do it, please try it. I guarantee it works. Again, that's a way for you to say that I see you. If you're not doing it, please do it. If you do it, that's funny. If you do it, please let me know. I'm curious to know what your response has been, what the experience has been like, and whether or not your partner has at least acknowledged, like, okay, this feels good. I like that. Again, number one is to touch the face, touch the shoulders. Okay, on YouTube they're talking about, I do that with my children. Yes. And it matters, y'all. It really matters. It really, really matters. All right, number two. The next thing that you subtly convey through the process or the experience of touch is, I miss you. And so where can you touch to convey I miss you? Now, what I've experienced and what I've read and what I've recommended to people who are in relationship is that if you go through the process of touching the fingertips, okay, Stephanie says she does that all the time. If you go through the process of gently touching the fingertips, let's say y'all are sitting next to each other. Again, you're not grabbing a whole hand. You're just touching the fingertips. If you touch the toes or touch the inside of the palms, yes, it can be an indication that I miss you. And the reason why is because you're touching the extremities. And so in touching the extremities, it's almost as if like you're asking for an invitation to come closer. And so it's indicating a yearning, indicating a wanting, and touching the fingertips is like, I want to go further, but let me stay on the outside. Let me stay on the outside and tease a little bit because I miss you and I want to connect you. Does anybody touch the fingertips? Touch the toes? I'm not talking about a full-out massage, but just a gentle touch, a gentle caress to acknowledge that you see the person and that you also miss the person. Anybody doing that? Anybody touching the fingertips? Touching the inside of the palm? Tracing? Anybody doing that? Anybody doing that? That's one way you can convey to your partner, I miss you. Again, it's not being direct. It's being teasing. Okay, I see Tisha saying it's a new one for me. Try it, Tisha. Try it. It works. It really does. It's subtle, but it conveys I miss you, and it lets your partner know that you also see them too. Try it. It really works. All right, number three, y'all. Number three, and again, I'm going through 5 subtle things that touch conveys. And if you have not shared this video, please go ahead and do so. Number 3, I like you. Now, let me park here for a second. So many people are in relationships with somebody that they love, but they don't like. Now, if my wife was here, she'll probably be like, well, yes. Some people are in relationships with somebody that they love, but they don't like. And that's a messed up space to be in. That's a messed up relationship to be in, because you want to like the person that you're in relationship with. You want to like the person that you're married to. It's really important. You want to have, similar interests, similar desires, similar goals, just ways in which you connect. And so it's really important that that like piece is present. And if it's not, and you just love, let me share with you something that you can do, or at least what your touch conveys when you do this. Now, when you hold your partner's hand, the subtle thing that it's conveying is that I like you. I like you. Let's take it back to the formative years, y'all. When you in school, what did you do? I mean, elementary school, middle school, maybe not middle school, but in elementary school, and even in preschool, like friends, they hold hands. They hold hands. Boys might not do that as much, but girls, they'll definitely be, especially in elementary school, they might be holding hands and that type of thing. But in any event, and sometimes boys do too as well. And so, holding hands is an indication that I like you. Are you all holding hands? Are you? I know I hold my wife's hand in public. I also know I hold my wife's hand privately as well. Are you holding your partner's hand? Are you? And if you're not, then what I would recommend is that you start doing it. I really would. I would recommend that you start doing it. And so again, holding your partner's hand or your partner holding your hand is a way that they subtly convey, I like you. I mean, you my peeps. I'm cool with you. I'm down with you. You good folks. Okay, fine, 29. Absolutely. Now, some people are like hesitant when it comes to that because they're not down with PDAs, public displays of affection. But again, when you do it, you're conveying that I like you. And that's the way it should be. You should be in a relationship with somebody that you like. If you're not, you need to get your life. And you need to do some things to try to engender that sense of life. Or at least start, examining just the nature of your relationship. And that's real talk. So again, we've covered so far, y'all. I see you, which consists of you touching the face, cheeks, eyelids, earlobes, lips, just touching. The second thing was, I miss you. And that's touching the fingertips, the toes, the inside of the hand, like the palm, just touching it. Not necessarily massaging it, but just touching it. It's a way to say I miss you because it's dealing with the extremities. The third thing was, I like you, holding your partner's hand. Do that. Do it more. Do it more. Hold their hand. Let him hold your hand, etc. It's a good way to say that I like you to your partner. The fourth thing, y'all, is I belong to you. Now, some people may, feel some sort of way about the idea of belonging to another person. But when you're in a relationship and there's some sense of attachment, some sense of responsibility, some connectedness, there's an obligation. There's an obligation for her to feel like she's covered by him, and there's an obligation for him to feel like he's covered by her. Now, when I say covered, what I'm talking about is like, yo, she got my back, I got her back. And so in that experience, there's this sense of belonging. It's extremely important. Everybody wants to feel like they're a part of something. And so when you're in a relationship, you want to feel like you belong. Like you belong with this woman, like this woman belongs with you. And so it's really important. And so what can you do to convey the feelings of belonging? One thing you can definitely do is cuddle. If you're not cuddling, you need to do it. Now, cuddling also consists of spooning. And so when you're in the bed, spooning is the process of the woman laying on her side, you laying up behind her, and y'all are like, you're cupping her and you're holding her. You got your arm around her and you're spooning. That's what spooning is. It's that holding her while she's in the bed and y'all are in that like spoon type of position. When you're not in bed, if y'all laying on the couch, holding her, letting her lay up on you, wrapping your arm around her, again, it's indicating that you belong to me. You're my woman. And the man can lay back on a woman. She's wrapping her arms around him. You belong to me too. And so that sense of belonging, it creates some element of safety in a relationship. And that's what you want. You want to be in a relationship where there's safety. And so it's really important that you engender those feelings of belonging. And you can do that by embracing your boo. Embrace them. Embrace her. It's really important, y'all. And so, and that doesn't just necessarily have to be while y'all are doing Netflix and chill or while y'all in the bed. Y'all can also do that when y'all are just standing up. She could be in the kitchen cooking, and you can walk up behind her and hug her. Just giving her a simple hug is a way to indicate that you belong to me and I belong to you. Again, that's number 4, y'all. To embrace, to spoon, to hug, to do all of that type of stuff is a way to say I belong to you and you belong to me. And number five, it's really important that, in your relationship, you convey the feeling of I want you. Everybody wants to be wanted. I often talk about that Marvin Gaye song, I Want You, and I want you to want me too, just like I want you. So it's really important that you convey a feeling or a desire of wanting your partner. If you feel I feel wanted in my relationship. I really do. I really do feel wanted in my relationship, but I'm hoping that you feel wanted as well. And so how can you convey that I want you? And so right now I'm speaking about more in a sexual way. If you do those other things that I just shared in terms of those subtle things or those touches, those types of touches that convey other emotions, then that's also saying I want you too. But this right here is sexually. So a way that you can convey that you want your partner sexually, obviously is to go for the gold and touch the genitalia. That's the low hanging fruit, and so that's easy to gently caress, to glaze, to or graze, and to just rub your hand over very softly and gently, and to tease, and that's the easy thing. So that's one way of saying that I want you. But another way of saying that I want you too, y'all, is to touch the small of the back. It's a subtle suggestion that, you're not necessarily going for the gusto. It's an indication that, I'm touching you in a not so frequently touched place. It's very sensitive, y'all. It stimulates, again, that oxytocin, and it may release some, dopamine in the system as well. And so it's stimulating her. It may also even stimulate him. Now, he may jump because, he may have some feelings about you getting too close to his butt. Some men do feel like that, but other men might just sit there and embrace and appreciate the experience of being touched in a place where they're not often touched. And so again, it's going to stimulate a hormonal reaction, and it's an indication that I want you. Touch in the small of the back. Of course, touch the butt. I don't particularly care for that. Again, I got my own feelings about being touched on my butt. I do jump. I'm one of them type of dudes that may jump. When that takes place. But men do like that. Men do like to be touched on their butt. Women like to be touched on their butt. Again, it's a way of conveying that I want you. Please, please, please do that. Touch the inside of the thighs. It's not direct. Again, it's kind of teasing. It's kind of tempting, and it's letting her know or letting him know that I'm trying to take this thing a step further. And so it's really important that, when you're in a relationship, you ain't got to always use words, y'all. And we talk about that in our class, in our Unstuck Personal Development and Relationship Coaching class, that you ain't always got to use words. So sometimes these subtle touches, they convey more than words could ever convey. Sometimes words get in the way, y'all. They really do. Words get in the way. And so it's really important that you use the power of your touch to express what it is that you're attempting to express. I'm going to run through these one more time. So here are the 5 subtle things that you can convey with your touch. Number 1, I see you. Touch in the face. Eyelids, earlobes, nose, the lips. Touch the face. I see you. Number 2, I miss you. Touch the fingertips. Touch the extremities, the fingertips, the toes. It's teasing. It's you making a bid for connection. It's also you asking whether or not you can go a little bit further. And so, again, it's important that you touch the fingertips, the toes, and then also the inside of the hand. Touch the palms. So trace that I forget what you call this, that birth line. Touch that. And in addition to that, the whole thing about I belong to you. You want to make sure that you're touching the hugging your partner, embracing your partner, connecting in with your partner in such a way where you're spooning. Y'all are sitting on the couch watching movies, and you're holding her, she's holding you. Touch, y'all. Touch. Embrace. It's really important that you embrace, because it conveys that I belong to you and you belong to me. When you touch, holding hands, the simple gesture of holding hands expresses that I like you. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to be loved. people want to feel some sense of attachment. And so when you hold your partner's hand, it's taking it back to them formative years, y'all. When y'all were in school, when you first started dating, when you first started connecting in with your boo, y'all held hands. So hold hands. Why you stop doing it? Why? Why did you stop doing it? Hold your partner's hands. It says that I like you. And your partner wants to be liked by you. So do it so that they can feel like they're liked. And you want to be liked by your partner. And so when they hold your hand, it's an indication that he or she likes you. And last but not least, y'all, I want you. Of course, touch the genitalia. Don't, necessarily be all rough and aggressive and that type of thing. But, gently touch it. Touch the genitalia, the small of the back, the butt, the inside of the thighs. These are all ways, y'all, in which you can convey through the simple act of touch your desires, for your partner. You can convey your feelings through this simple act of touch. Again, words aren't always necessary. Bruce said the bottom of my woman's back has 2 little midgets attached. I love to touch it. Good advice. Do it, y'all. Do it, do it, do it. These are ways to enhance the quality in your relationship. Again, I'm inviting y'all to participate in our Unstuck Personal Development and Relationship Coaching Program. Go to unstucklove.com. If you're a dude and you want to know how to better love up on your woman, I want you to check out my program, loveonher.com. Loveonher.com. One more time, loveonher.com. I put it in the comments. If you're in a relationship with a woman and you want to learn how to love her better, I'm talking about this stuff that I just shared with you and so much more in that program. Please get it, especially since you're coming up on Valentine's Day, Black Love Day, Akoma Day, all of that good stuff. You don't want to be coming up short and not making sure that you're taking care of your woman. So again, my name is Ayize Ma'at. I'm hoping this helped you. Yes, Karen, loveonher.com. I'm hoping that this was beneficial to you. Check out loveonher.com to get some tips, get my program where I talk about, how to love up on your woman, sexually, mentally, emotionally, all of that type of stuff. How to take care of yourself too, mentally, emotionally, sexually, spiritually, and all that type of stuff. So check that out. But then also, if you want to be a part of our current, it's starting today, y'all, our Unstuck Personal Development and Relationship Coaching Program, go to unstucklove.com. We still got some slots left. You can sign up there. It starts tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, and what that consists of is a coaching group class every Monday at 9 p.m., a live Q&A every Thursday at 9 p.m., weekly touch-ins, where you get to talk to my wife and I. It's really beneficial, y'all. We got some good feedback from the class that we just recently finished up. And so again, thank y'all for watching. And as always, in order to, implement any of these things that I'm talking about in your relationship, you gotta, what you gotta do. Stop playing and start pushing. All right, peace, y'all. And please share, please share, please share. All right, YouTube. Thanks for watching. Peace, y'all.